Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Like, share, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Today, what I want to talk about is a little bit, I guess it's controversial to some, not to me. I know what my wife she probably would tell me, like, I don't think you should talk about that, but I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. This is kind of like my journal of life, so um, I'm going to tell you the things that I feel, tell you my stories, and if you don't like the things that I talk about, well, skip to the next video or just don't watch the channel. It's that simple. Uh, but today, what I want to talk about is my feelings on religion. Most people that I know, they have their religious beliefs. Whether they're Catholics or Christians. That's what I know. I don't know too many. I don't think I know anybody that's Muslim or practice Judaism or Hinduism or Buddhism. Yeah, I don't know anybody that practices those religions. But it has to do with where you live at, though. Where you live is what most people will practice. So, anyways, I grew up believing in religion. I was baptized and all that stuff. I was baptized as a child, as a Catholic. Later on in life, my family became Christians, and I was baptized a couple times within the Christian religion. Used to go to church. I wasn't. I would just go to church. I wasn't the kind of person that did go talk to you about God and all that stuff like that. I'm not one of the people that kind of force shit upon other people. Sorry, I forgot to turn my fucking TV off. So yeah, I didn't. I wasn't one of the kind of people that would go around and preach to people, and just never felt that I wanted to do that. I didn't want to like try to push myself and my beliefs on anybody else. So I wasn't that kind of a Christian. I just went to church whenever my family went. I never went to a church voluntarily on my own, not on the streets. When I was locked up, they had religious services, and sometimes we would go just so we can get out of the units and go down to the services and stuff like that. But on the streets, no, I never just decided one Sunday, like, oh, I'm going to go to church today. Because the way that I felt is, if you're not going to do it all the way, then why are you even doing it at all? If I'm not going to follow that book as much as possible, as much as humanly possible, then why am I going to even try it? Why am I going to go do all that? What I mean? If I'm gonna go to church on Sunday and then back to fucking drinking as soon as I leave there, go hit the sports bar, go watch a Raider game, start pounding beers and shit, or smoking weed, or smoking cigarettes, whatever the fuck your vices are, whatever shit you're doing. Why am I gonna go do all that? To me that was just being phony. I know people that go to church and they try their best to do what they're supposed to do. Like they always say, we're not perfect, and so I believe that. But you're not trying to be either. You know what I mean? So let's just put that out there. I have a saying, and it's, most people believe in God, but they live their life like there isn't one, and that's a fact. That's a fact. I've noticed that a lot of Christians are the, Catholics don't make the excuses like Christians do that I've ever heard. And I know because I used to go to Christian churches, but they have a lot of excuses. We're not perfect, and we're all sinners, and you they just have excuses why they do what they do. They think just because they go to church and because they pray that everything's good. You know what I mean? Catholics, on the other hand, feel they can go and say some Hail Marys and some sign of the cross like 50 times and they're good. You know, put these two in the same room together, and if um, they're radicals type people, they would kill each other over who's right and who's wrong. Same with the other religions. Well, I don't think that Buddhism they're more of a peaceful type thing. I can't think of a time where you see on the news or anything like somebody that was into Buddhism went on a killing rampage and shit. They're more of like a peaceful type thing. But I just noticed that Christians do they have a lot of excuses. And I've heard them all going to church. So. And I told you the story about how when I was a kid and as I prayed that just not to wake up, I didn't want to be here anymore, and wake up disappointed every fucking day. Little by little, I started to just not believe in it. I started to see the things that, like I said, the excuses that were used. It's always we're not perfect. We're not perfect. It's like you can go to church. Like I said, you can go to church, leave there, go to a sports bar. You can drink some beer, maybe go in the bathroom, do a bump. And if you say, hey man, you just got, I thought you were doing the Christian thing, man. What's going on? Like, hey, I'm not perfect. I went to church, so I pray, but I'm not perfect. You know, God knows that I'm not perfect. So it's like, yeah, but you ain't trying to be either. So you're not trying to follow the religion. Most people are not. There's people out there that do, but most people are not. So there's always an excuse why they do what they do. Which to me, I really don't care. I'm just giving you examples. I don't care what you do. That doesn't matter to me. It does not affect my life. But I stopped with the whole church thing. And my mom, my aunt, especially my aunt, she goes to church all the time. She's been doing it for years, and she used to try to tell me like come to church and stuff like that. But she was never really pushing it on us like that. She would just say, "You want to just go to church?" And I wouldn't. I don't want to go to church. And but she was never like pushy with it. My mom started going to church too again. It was always a back and forth thing with my mom and my dad, back and forth, back and forth. Like I said, it was always like, well, I'm not perfect. You're not trying to be either. That's why you keep going back and forth, back and forth. You're not trying to be perfect. You always can come back to that. I'm not perfect. So I can run off and go fuck up and do dope and all that shit. Come back 3 years later, like, hey, I'm not perfect. So, anyways, it was always a back and forth thing with my family, with church. So, jumping forward to when I was in my relationship with my kid's mother, things were not going good between me and her. I was always fucking around. Um, she wanted to make things work. I did too, but at what cost? You know what I mean? She she started to go to church on Sundays. And that's another thing I don't understand about Christians is that they go on Sundays. But there's church other days of the week, you know what I mean? But they go on Sundays. Why don't you go on Wednesdays? Why don't you go on Thursdays? Don't you have Bible study on Thursday? I mean, the church is not just open on Sunday, but for some reason, it's Sunday. Oh, I'm gonna go Sunday. You don't want to go to the other times of the week, you know what I mean? But anyways, So she started going to this big church. It's a really big church, you know. And she would tell me like, "Why don't you go with us? You know, we can go as a family, me and you and the kids." And she kept talking about it and talking about it. And I finally said, "Okay, I'll go. I'll go and go to your church." So I went with her, and I was amazed. I was amazed when I went there. I wasn't amazed at at the service. I wasn't amazed at that. That didn't amaze me. I've heard it all before. There's nothing that he was saying that I didn't hear before from somebody else. I was amazed on how big this church was. It's a huge church. This guy standing up there on the podium on each side of these big, huge projection TVs. On each side, back here in the back, there's platforms where there's two guys filming with the cameras, professional like media type cameras or movie style cameras, you know, with the handles and shit, you know. And actually, there's one guy. There was one guy. He's on this side. He's filming, and it's being projected here. In that church, you go down a hall. There's like a. It's not Starbucks, but it's like a Starbucks. You know, they have coffee, tea, muffins, cookies, like they do at Starbucks. It's like a Starbucks, but it's not Starbucks. It's their own stuff that they make their uh their coffee, all that stuff. Then they had all these different. It was almost like a high school because they have all these different programs, classes, the teens, the little kids, mothers that are pregnant, mothers with babies. They all had different areas in this big building where they could go, and every single one of these rooms had big TVs in there on the walls, so he could be seen anywhere you're at in that place, in the coffee shop, wherever you're at. He's there. He could be seen. And I was just like, man, this millions and millions and millions of dollars it cost to build this giant church. And so I went, I think I went 2 times and I was over it. I was like, I'm over it. You know, this is not for me. I don't want to be here, you know. Um, and then, you know, a little bit of time went by and she says, hey, why don't we go to counseling at my church? Like marriage counseling. Even though we were married, why don't we go to marriage counseling at my church? So fine, I agreed to it. Let's go. And here we are sitting with this lady, and right away it's just like because she goes to church, I don't. So right away, boom, I'm wrong. The finger's getting pointed at me. So I'm just listening to her, and she's complaining. She's pointing the fucking finger. I'm just listening to this shit. Like, you're not supposed to be saying nothing. Fuck your opinion. You're supposed to listen. No, she's complaining. She's pointing the fucking finger. That's it. I ain't doing that shit no more. Gone. So I didn't never went back to the church no more. Then I find out that the dude that was running the pastor, the main guy for the church, you know, he doesn't have a job. His job is standing up there, reading out of his book that you can go get yourself. I mean, sometimes they give the things away for free. You can read it yourself. You don't need him. But when I was sitting in the church and seeing how big it was, how massive it was, and how many people were in there, in my mind, I started to calculate shit. Like, I'm trying to get a rough estimate. You know, if there's a couple, well, that couple's giving 10% of their money. If they're doing what they're supposed to do, if they're doing what their religion is asking them to do, they're giving 10%. I think it's 10%. I'm looking around just like, fuck. Try to calculate this shit. And I was like, Dad, on Sunday, that's just Sunday. How much money is coming into this church, tax free too. This guy doesn't have a job, you know. He's just reading. He's reading the Bible to you, and he's telling you his interpretation of it. One thing that I've always said is that Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, Hinduism, all these different religious beliefs, they are beliefs. They are beliefs. Knowledge is knowledge. Belief is belief. Belief is not knowledge, though. You don't hear them say, we know this, we know that. We believe this to be true, we believe this to be true, but belief is not knowledge. If you hear somebody telling you that he knows or she knows for a fact, they're lying to you. They would be lying to you because they don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So that's one thing that I always said when I hear somebody try to tell me like they know this, is that you're okay right off the bat. I ain't got nothing to say to you no more about this because I know right now, I know for a fact now you're lying because you don't know what you're talking about. You believe in what you believe, but you don't know. Belief is not knowledge. Knowledge is knowing, not believing. Two different things. You see, so when if somebody comes to me and says, yes, I know this, I know this, I know this, I know this about their religious belief, I don't want to have nothing to do with them. Like, don't even talk to me about that shit because I know you're lying now because you do not know. And any real person that really believes in their religious beliefs, and I'm not just saying Christians, I'm saying all of them, they'll tell you, no, this is what I believe. This is our beliefs. Okay, then I can listen to you because you're being honest now. You don't know. It's something that you believe in. So then I can listen to you. But if you come over here with that shit that you know, get out of here. I don't even want to deal with you. You know what I mean? Because you're lying to me straight out the bat. So he sits up there, he's saying what he has to say. And I'm just like, I'm done. I've heard this before. You know what I mean? I've heard it all before. And then like I said, I'm looking at the money situation like, damn, this dude ain't got a job. This dude's getting paid off all these people. All this shit is paid. You know what I mean? Donations and stuff like that. Not because he put in hard work for it. You know what I mean? The men and the women in that church, they put in hard work for it. You see? But they don't own shit there. So I don't go. I'm done with it. I don't want to hear it. That's it. I ain't got nothing against it. That's one thing I have to say. I do not have nothing against Christianity or Catholicism, any religious beliefs. I can't speak too much on the other one because I've never had no experience with it. I don't have experience in Islam. But I started recently listening to audiobooks at night when my wife's asleep. And I downloaded a couple books. Buddhism, Hinduism. I'll probably download one on Islam. Because I'm just trying to learn different things. It's just, again, this knowledge. I'm trying to know the shit. I'm not trying to believe in anything. I just want the knowledge. I want to hear what you have to say, hear what they have to say, and then I can take good things from all these things as much as I possibly can. I don't want to practice your religions. I don't want to practice those religions. I used to have a book on Satanism. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I think my ex, because I had it when I was with my ex, she might have threw that shit away. Wasn't trying to be a Satanist. I was just learning stuff, just knowledge. That's all it is. There's nothing wrong with learning different things, So I started listening the other day to the Buddhism, and I'll probably throw it up back on tonight and fuck around my phone and listen to it, or while I'm doing my videos at night, editing them on my phone, I'll listen to it. But anyways, so I stopped with the whole thing. I was like, I stopped with the whole charade. I'm not doing it. I don't believe in it. That's just the way it is. I believe, not believe. I take the good from some of your what you practice, what you preach. I take that and try to mold that into my own life. But that's it. All the stories, I just can't. You can't do it. You know what I mean? I like to think that I'm smarter than that. So time's going by. Shit's still messed up. It's not going good between me and her. I keep doing the same things I'm doing, still fucking around, still not coming home at night. I'm just doing all the same shit I was doing. So finally, she says, hey, why don't you go to this men's? They're having a men's barbecue. They're gonna have a men's barbecue on I think it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday. They have a men's barbecue at the pastor's house. Why don't you just go? Okay, she's still trying to convince me. So why don't you just go? But she had been trying to get me to go to like Bible studies and all this other shit before. She would keep on trying, but I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'll do whatever, all of the other stuff, any other stuff, but I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do the religious thing. But she would keep on. She would try, and finally she said, they're having a barbecue. Why don't you just go? Maybe it'll help us. Maybe whatever. Maybe it'll help you. Oh. I said, okay. If I go, if I go to this men's barbecue, will you leave it alone? Will you leave me alone with this church stuff, with your religious stuff? Will you leave it alone? If I go, this will be the last time. But if I go, will you leave it alone? Yes. Okay. She's thinking that something's gonna happen. So I go. And I get up on the freeway and I take this road going toward Lytle Creek off of 15. And I end up at this dirt lot, and there's men out there, and they're like they're little flagging people in, and there's a lot of cars. I'm like, shit, there's a lot of people coming. There's a lot of men coming here. There's a lot of cars going in. We're parking in this big dirt lot, and then I get out of my car, and then the ushers, they're coming up and like, hey, how you doing? You here for the barbecue? Yeah. Okay, just follow them in. There's a dirt road going up into the hill. Just go up in there. You just stay on the dirt road, and you'll see the house. Okay, cool. So I go. I don't talk to nobody other than him. I go, and we come up. We're going through these trees and shit. It's nice. Get up there. I see this big house up there in there, and you can smell barbecue. So when you get up there, there's this guy out there with this trailer. The trailer doing barbecue. So it's catered. And so you can smell the barbecue, it smelled good, get up there and there's just like, I don't know, a couple hundred, 200-300 men walking around the property, talking to each other. A lot of these guys knew each other. They're walking in little groups, and as you walk by, they, hey, how you doing? And and again, I'm cordial. I don't like, hey, don't talk to me. Hey, how you doing? But I'm just trying to stay away from everybody. I'm just wandering around, looking at the house, and and I'm just observing what's going on. And I don't know how long I was there before he came out. They were like, hey, gather up by the front of the house. The pastor has something to say to everybody before we have lunch. So I'm walking around, like, out there seeing the property and all that shit, and I'm just like, man, this dude is good. He has a nice home. And I know he has kids and shit, and a wife and all that. So I was like, they have a nice home out here, in the mountains, in the hills. No, there was no neighbors there. It was their house. Not that I seen. Where I was at, I didn't see no other houses, just his house there, big house out there. So then, they set up a podium right there in the center. You walk up these steps, and there's his porch. You walk up, I don't know. I mean, it's been so long, and you probably walk up like 10 steps, a big steps. Walk up there, and there's a podium up there. He comes up there, and he stands there, and he's thanking everybody for showing up, and he's talking. He has his Bible with him. He starts, he's doing his thing. He's preaching a little bit about, whatever. And I'm standing in the back of everybody. I'm way in the back. I'm not trying to be in the middle. I'm not trying to be in the front. I don't know nobody there, and I don't really feel comfortable with all these people there. So I'm way in the back. So I'm just standing there, and I'm just watching this guy, and I'm looking around because all these men are just so into it. They're just gathered around this porch area. Just all these dudes, man. And he's talking and talking, and they're just like, I'm looking at them too. I'm not just looking at him. I'm just looking at all these men, and I'm like, I didn't get it. I just didn't get it, man. And as I'm watching this guy, and I'm looking at all these guys, these men, I'm getting more and more upset that I'm even there. To the point where inside I wanted to just turn around and walk away. You see, because my mind is not going to what he's talking about. My mind, because and especially at this time in my life, my relationship was fucked up, but it was fucked up because of me. I can admit that, But I was living check to check, barely getting by. Sometimes I had to borrow money to get my kids Christmas gifts, to get my kids birthday gifts, because I just wasn't making enough money because I was paying so much child support to my other 2 kids. So I'm living check to check, man. I'm barely getting by, and I'm sitting here watching this shit, and I'm not thinking about what he's saying. I'm thinking about how he's saying, he was talking about how the church paid for all this stuff, the men, the barbecue and all that. And then my mom said, no, the church. Yeah, technically, yes, the church paid. These people, these men here are the church, not you. You ain't paid shit. You don't even have a job. These men here go to work and work their asses off to take care of their families, and then they give their money to you. That's how you built that church. That's how you pay for all this barbecue. These men just bought their own lunches. You didn't pay for shit. Because what you're telling them, they can learn that shit on their own. Every single one of these guys has the same book that you have at their house. They can do their own. They don't need you. But here you are with a fat bank account. Here you are standing at the top of the steps looking down at these men. Here you are driving around in a really nice, expensive car. Here you are buying your wife a really nice, expensive car so she can drive around. Here you are paying for private schools for your kids, while these men live at the bottom of the hill and look up at you. That's the way that I see it. That's the way that I seen him. I'm not saying the man's a false prophet. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, you got the good life. I got to struggle. I got to live check to check. Yes, that has to do with also. Well, I went to school to be a truck driver. I was a truck driver at the time. Truck driving is a career. It's not a job. So that's another thing. People that I could talk about later on. But some people need to know the difference between a career and a job. Anyway, I had a career. I was a truck driver. Still, it's my fault. I was paying so much child support and all that stuff like that. But still, I'm living check to check. You got people just throwing money at you to do what they could do themselves. I always, when I was into religion, I always believed that religion is not the building. I mean, Uh, um, Church is not the building. It's what you have here. It's in you. Church is everywhere. If you believe in that, if you believe in that religion, church is everywhere you go. I can sit here, and this can be my church. I can go to a park and talk with somebody. That's church. Not this extravagant building with your own coffee shops and all this shit that, you know, these ministry trees that they're paying for, not you. They always say the church is paying for it. Yeah, the church is paying for it. These people are the church, not you, not this building. It's like a big ass savings account. But you're living the good life. And all these men down here, like I said, they're at the bottom of the hill. And it just made me think, like, you're standing on a mountain and you up there pointing the finger. You're the fucking puppet master on the top of that hill. You got these people throwing their money at you. Not only them, but their wives too. So, like I said, I was getting more and more upset even being there, listening to this dude. You know what I mean? Like, who are you? You're nobody to me. You know, and I wouldn't give you $1. You know what I mean? And so whatever, I had their barbecue. I left. When I went home, how was the barbecue? The food was good, really good. But that's it. Don't ask me no more. I don't want nothing to do with this no more. I don't believe this. What you believe, I don't believe it. I like I said, I like to think I'm smarter than that. And you can pull wool over my eyes and 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 and, and fool me. That's the way that I feel. Like you're trying to fool me, And so, like my friend Ray says, he says, that, um, when he prays, and again, I love my friend Ray, and I accept his criticism. I do. I accept what he says. You know what I mean? That he could not offend me, because that's how good friends that me and Ray are. You know what I mean? He can say whatever he wants to me, and it'll always be good. You know what I mean? We'll always remain friends. In my opinion, in my eyes, you know what I mean? Me and him will remain friends. I love the guy. I love the guy like a brother. You know what I mean? And nothing can break that shit. Nothing at all. You know what I mean? But when he says like, when he prays for me, he says, he asks God to, what is it? To like, what is it that he says? He says a certain thing. But what he's saying is I can always turn that around and say, well, say for instance, I believe in Islam. I'm Muslim. Um, oh, that's what he says. He tells me, he's like, Mike, don't be stubborn, man. Don't be stubborn. You know what I mean? It's okay. Don't be prideful. It's okay. It has nothing to do with those things. I could go, like I said, I can turn it around and say, okay, I'm Muslim. I believe in Islam. I want to bring you to Islam. Don't be stubborn. You know what I mean? It's okay. Don't be prideful. Don't be stubborn. And he's is I could never convince him to be Muslim. I could never convince Ray to be a Muslim. I couldn't convince Ray to be a Catholic. I couldn't convince him to be Hindu or believe in Hinduism. I couldn't convince him of that. You know what I mean? So it's not me being stubborn. It's people do not, for some reason, if you don't believe in their religion, whatever religion it is, it's always like, why not? Don't be stubborn. No, I just don't believe that. I'm not being stubborn. I'm not afraid. That's the way that I feel. Like I'm not afraid. You know what I mean? And I said it before. With the cancer. I have cancer. I didn't run to church. I didn't run to the Bible. I didn't run to anything religious or anything that has to do with religion. Nothing. My mother-in-law tried to get me to go to church. And people try to get me to go to church. I did not run to religion for anything. I still firmly believe what I believe. If I was here right now and on hospice and I'm, got days, weeks to go, I'm done. I can promise you one thing. You're not gonna break me. I'm gonna believe what I want to believe. I shouldn't even use the word break me because that kind of makes I am being stubborn. No, you're not gonna convince me any otherwise of what I believe. That's just what I believe is what I believe. And what I believe is that just be a good person is as good as you can. Try to make the good outweigh the bad. The scale of life. If you're doing all this bad shit and the good's here, you live a terrible life. I don't know what's going to happen to you afterwards. I'm, to be honest with you, I am, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Um, like I said before, when I was younger, the fear of death has been taken away from me, and I'm not afraid of it. You know what I mean? Uh, do I? No, I can say this. I would never try to kill myself. I did that. Try to do that shit when I was younger. That was it. That's some coward shit. I would not do that. You know what I mean? I look. I can't respect it. You know what I mean? But I can say, and this is me being honest, because like I said, this is my life. This is what I feel. Like I said, I'm looking forward to see what happens. If anything happens, and I'll tell you what I think happens. But whatever happens, happens. But I'm ready for that. I am ready to go right now. I love my life. I love my wife. I'm not saying that I want to kill myself. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: if they say it's time to go right now, it's like okay, I'm fine. I've been waiting for this since I was a little kid. I've been waiting. So let's go. I don't want to be here no more. I'm here, yes. I'm still gonna live my life the way I live it. Do the things I want to do. I'm gonna drink beer. I'm gonna, eat steak. I'm gonna do all the shit that everybody says I'm not supposed to do. I'm gonna live my life with my wife, and I'm gonna continue to take care of my wife until I'm no longer here. But I don't want to be here anymore. And it's not because I'm sad. It's not because I'm depressed. It has nothing to do with that shit no more. I see what's going on. I see the way that the world is changing. I see the way that my people are changing. I see the way that these fucking kids act. I see all these things, you know what I mean? I see the way that grown men act now. You know, uh, it's there. I get to look into your household through the phone. I can see everything these women are doing, the men are doing. It's fucking terrible. Like I said before, women are the worst they've been in the history of mankind right now. And men have always been, the fucking dogs. You know what I mean? They're always men are dogs. Men have been the same. You know what I mean? But with all the alphabet people and all their bullshit, things are changing. Things are changing now. You got straight men walking around with purses and shit, or merces, or whatever the fuck they call. They don't wear them. They don't wear them over their shoulder. They wear them over their head. If you take that same thing you wore around your neck and it's in front of you like this, and you just slung it over your arm, it's a fucking purse. But you throw it over your head, it's a whatever you want to call it, a merce, a satchel, fuck, I don't know what you guys call it. You know what I mean? I would have more respect for you if you wore a fucking fanny pack. But your men are carrying around purses, I got see gangster ass dudes running around with cut up fucking jeans on and shit. Skinny jeans, and I just see the way that things are and how things have changed so much. It's like, man, I'm not from here. I'm not from here. I don't want to be associated with these people. You know what I mean? All the shit that's going on in the world with the alphabet people. You know what I mean? And the things that they're doing. You see what I mean? How they're trying to indoctrinate your children, little kids. Little kids. They want to go to the little kids' schools and talk to them about sexual shit. Okay? If you are part of the alphabet people, they're allowing you to do it. If you're a straight grown man and you go to a school and you sit there and talk to some little kids about sexual shit, you're a fucking child, a molester. You go to jail for that shit. You'll persecute that guy. You'll stone that dude if you could. But you're afraid of these people. You're allowing them to do these kind of things. I'm not from this place. I'm not from this place. I don't want to be around these people. And the thing is, I have a gay brother and 2 gay sisters. As far as I know, they don't act that way. You know what I mean? I'm almost positive they don't act that way. If they act that way, I probably, if my brother was acting that way, I'd probably fuck him up if he was doing some weird shit like that. But I don't think my brother does things like that. I know my sisters don't do shit like that. You know what I mean? But they're not extreme with their they just live their life. Go ahead and live your life. I don't give a shit that you're gay. It doesn't bother me none. It's the alphabet people that are just fucking with kids. And like I said, it's okay for them to do it, but let a straight man go do that shit and see what happens. You put his ass in prison, and then he's on Megan's Law. Why don't you line these fuckers up and put them on Megan's Law for what they're doing, you know? So, like I said, I'm ready to go. I don't like this place. And it's getting worse and worse and worse as time goes by. One day, this shit's gonna explode. One day, them people might just have to answer for what they're doing. And I ain't talking about through the courts. One day, maybe society will say, hey, you know what? Enough's enough with these motherfuckers. And we have to deal with them now. Because the system doesn't want to deal with them. You know, but anyway, kind of got a little off track with it. But I'm just saying, I don't like this place. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see what happens. Me personally, the way that I feel is that we'll never leave here. You're never going to leave here. We have to look at things from how things were done a long time ago. You know, when you died, they buried you in the ground. They didn't put you in a coffin and all that shit. They buried you in the ground a long time ago. Then they started doing the coffins and other shit like that. Sometimes they certain countries they would burn your body, they cremate you and shit like that. But either way it goes, you know, now you get either cremated or you get buried. You know, but I the way I see it is like you'll never leave here. You go straight into the ground, or you turn to ash, whatever. But you are part of what feeds the rest of this world we live in. Not only that, but eventually your particles of you will end up in the atmosphere. They'll end up in space. You go to the ground, your body rots. Your body feeds the soil. Soil feeds the grass. Grass gets eaten by animals, bugs, all these things. It's that, like they say, the cycle is the life cycle. You know what I mean? You're feeding other things, and you are becoming part of other things. Even though it's microscopic shit, you're becoming part of everything else. If you're cremated and somebody dumps your ashes somewhere, you go everywhere. It spreads. The wind picks up and you spread and you go everywhere. And people will even breathe you in. I think deeply about this shit. People will breathe that in. Somewhere along the line in your life, You have breathed the air that had particles of people in it. So you will be remembered until the last person who knows you died. But you will always be here unless you're famous and they put you in books and shit like that. If you're just a normal, average, everyday citizen Joe, you're not famous, you're not in no books, none of that shit. Well, I mean, they have the internet now, they have YouTube, so you might be remembered forever if you got some good content. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that you're gonna always be here, and you're gonna be part of everything else. So you will live on forever. It just nobody will know who you are, where you are, but you will live on through other things, whether it's animals, the trees, the air, you know what I mean, other people. You're gonna be here forever, no matter what. That's what I believe. You die, the lights get turned out for you. The bulb's dead. There's no more light. But you will live forever. So why be afraid of that? If you believe in heaven and hell, and you believe you're going to go to heaven, why are you afraid of that? Why, when people that believe in these religions, when shit goes wrong, you get all scared. You get all scared, they want to pray. Wait a minute. You believe there's a better place than this. Now you're crying. Now you're afraid. Now you want forgiveness. You don't want to die. You want to stay here. Why? There's another place better than this. Where maybe, I just throw a number out there. Maybe 2% of the people that you knew in your whole life are there. Because the rest of them, according to your guys' belief, they're somewhere else. They didn't make it on time. They didn't have enough time to ask for forgiveness, so they're over there. And you so happen to be able to make it over here, but there's only 2% of the people that you ever met in your life are there. Most of your family is over there. Let's get that shit straight, if that's what you believe in. So you can believe in all that. I believe that we're going to be here forever. You'll never leave this place. But this place goes on. It goes on. You know, the whole thing with the universe, and it goes on forever. It doesn't end. You know, you're going to forever be part of this. So I'm okay with that. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not going to wait until the very last minute and say, okay, come on, Dad, get over here and pray for me now. Okay, I thought I was going to make it. I thought I was going to beat cancer. And now I'm not. Now I'm sitting here on hospice, and I'm shriveling it up here. I know I'm going. They already said there's nothing they can do. Pray for me now. No. I'm going to say, just let me be. Let me go. It's my life, my choice, not yours. Don't force yourself on me. Don't try to force yourself on me. You know, and don't be upset that I won't allow you to force yourself upon me. I'm not trying to force myself upon you. And what I say is what I believe are my thoughts on all this stuff. Again, is what I believe. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happens. This is what I believe. I don't know that shit for sure. So I can't say this is what's going to happen to you. I don't know that. This is what I believe. But I'm not forcing that on anybody else. And I'm not trying to convince anybody else. I don't care what happens to you. I don't care if you go to heaven or you go to hell. I don't care if you believe in what I believe. I don't believe, or Hinduism, whatever. I don't care. Your shit does not affect me. It does nothing for me. Just like what I believe does nothing for you. It's not going to help you out one bit. When it's time for you to go, you're going by yourself. You ain't going with me. And nobody's going to give you an extra notch. Hey, you finally convince this guy, and you convince this guy, and you convince this guy. You're not going to get no extra notches because according to the religion, you are going to be judged off solely what you done in your life, not how many people you convinced. No, no, no. Let's talk about all the shit you're doing in your life. You know what I mean? You don't get notches for that shit. It's not like a karate belt where you can little notches. So if that's the case, like fuck, dude. That's why you're doing it because you want more notches. Again, my damn light died on me. This light on this GoPro sucks. It's a real small little light. I have a big ring. I'm gonna start using it again. But anyways, I'm almost done anyway. So, but that's just what I had to say. About that. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I just tell you how I feel about what I believe. What you believe is on you. I got nothing against you. If you were a Muslim, I would still be your friend. If you believe in Hinduism, still be your friend. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just don't try to push yourself upon me because I would never try to push myself upon you. Live and let live.